I just want to, Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm so happy that you're here. Um, we are really excited to present this workshop to you on how to find a summer research internship. My name is Naomi Kapp. For those, some of you may know me already. If you don't, I am one of the staffers who works in the Yeshiva University Career Center. I'm Associate Director of the Career Center in the Advisement department of the center. We also have a full staff. And since we are working virtually, you can make appointments to see any of the staff members. We are all here to service you and to help you become successful in securing a summer research internship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start immediately. So for those of you who can't see me, this is me. My name is, as I said, Naomi Kapp. But as you see, we have a full staff here at the center. Our primary goal is to make sure we support every student here at Yeshiva University, both our undergraduates and graduate students, so that they can think strategically about designing their careers to become leaders of tomorrow. And what we are doing in order to help support you is we are supporting you from the first day you enter college throughout your whole 3 or 4 years of college. And then even as you approach your senior year and you're ready to graduate, we are here to help you through the graduate school admissions process for those of you who are going to go on to graduate school, and for those of you who are seeking either gap year opportunities before you go to graduate school. We are here to help you with those plans. Or for those of you who are going to get a research assistant position for a couple of years before you decide to decide to go to graduate school or not decide to go to graduate school or medical school or professional school, we are here for you. And I will venture to say we're here for you throughout your life, because we do see students who are alumni and we help them through the next stages in their professional development. So today we're talking about how to secure a summer research internship in the sciences. So whether it's biomedical research or it's physics research, we are here to help you plan out a successful search. First thing you want to ask yourself is, where do I want to work? Do I want a clinical research position, which basically means, do I want to be part of a clinical research study, either working for a physician or in a hospital and recruiting patients, or putting patients through various experiments, analyzing the data from studies, etc.? Or am I interested in wet lab research? And I will tell you that both are actually fine for students interested in going on to graduate school. Obviously, if you're interested more in the academic science research, if some of you, and we do have students who are planning to go on to PhD programs in genetics or PhD programs in pharmacology. So obviously for those programs, it is very useful to do wet lab research. On the other hand, if you are interested in going on to medical school or dental school and you want to get research experience, you can either do either clinical or wet lab research. So that's the first thing you want to determine. Second thing you want to determine, do I want a formalized program like a SERP program or a SERF program, which we'll get to, or do I want just to work for an independent PI, primary investigator? And again, I have to say very honestly, either one is fine, especially if you're going on to medical school or you're going on to, genetic counseling, graduate school, etc. If you are going on to a PhD program in one of the natural sciences, then obviously, as you approach your junior year, the summer of your junior year, you really do want to go, if you can, get into a formalized program. Although I will tell you, it is not critical for entry into a PhD, an academic PhD program. Okay. The other thing that will determine planning your search is your level of experience. So there may be some people here on the webinar tonight that are in their sophomore year, and this is their first summer after their first year of college. And clearly, those students will have less research experience. So there may be less opportunities open for them, but there definitely will be opportunities open for them. So the more experience you've had, the more you can compete in the more formalized programs like the SERP program. Another thing that may determine and planning your search is your areas of interest. Some of you may have very specific areas of interest. Let's say you are interested in oncology research. Some other people may be interested in pulmonary research. Some other people may be interested in psychiatry research. So what may also help you devise your plan of action is your area of interest in research. The next thing I just want to talk about very briefly is even if you do research this summer, don't forget, especially those of you who are using it as entry requirements for medical school, don't forget to plan for your other experiences as well. So for some of you, that might mean clinical experiences, volunteering in a hospital, shadowing physicians, or again, if you're using this more for something like genetic counseling, shadowing appropriate professionals in your field like genetic counselors. So don't necessarily put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, one of the things we've seen through COVID is that unfortunately, some of the formalized programs were canceled this summer. So people were scrambling at the last minute to have and to find opportunities for themselves. So I think what you want to do, and I will tell you that as I planned this seminar, I went on every website that I'm going to suggest that you go on. And as of now, people are planning to have the programs continue as usual. And again, unfortunately, in this, still we're in the COVID era, we can only go by what people are planning to do, what the programs are planning to do. If unfortunately something comes up again and there is something that is unforeseen, obviously you will have to be adaptable. And that's why we say try to make other plans as well for other experiences that will be valuable to you. And finally, the last thing you want to do is you want to make sure what is the kind of time commitment you're able to give, because that also will determine what kinds of programs you can plan for. I will tell you honestly, and again, I'm always very transparent. It kind of surprises me, but oftentimes I'll get a question from students. Well, what if I just want to go to Israel and I just want to have 1 month to do research? Do you think I'll be able to find something? And I'll say, well, I don't think they'll take you very seriously, because if you're serious about research, most of the formalized programs are anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks. So, to say I have 1 month to do a research program, by the time they train you, you're already going to be leaving. So again, I think you have to really rethink what your time commitment is if you are interested in doing a summer research program. As I said, they're very serious about their time commitments. So we're going to move on. And at the end, I'll take any questions. So if anybody has really any pressing questions, there are 2 things you can do. I think we have a chat here. You can put them in the chat, and then later on, we will get to it. Yes, so there are maybe 4 questions in the chat. So, but please put your questions down, because I will want to get to them by the end. Okay, so that you don't forget, just put them down. Okay, so what are the strategies we're going to use, we're going to talk about today in order to be successful at securing a summer research internship this summer? First and foremost, and this is probably the most common, is networking. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this already, right? So networking is an opportunity to make connections with people who are working in the field that you're interested in. And for you, I will assume that these are uh, people in the scientific research world, and you are trying to connect with them or network with them. Now, for those of you who might have family members already working in the field, it may be a little bit easier for you. So, where do you start with networking? So, some of you might have family or friends to network with. So, there may be either your immediate family may be involved in research, or your extended family, or maybe your immediate family is involved in healthcare and they may know people who are involved in, science research and the hospitals that they're affiliated with. Maybe some of you have neighbors who are working in the field. Maybe some of you are roommates with friends whose parents are in the field. So networking starts with the most inner circle of closest people to you, friends and family, and it branches out to Yeshiva University faculty. You can reach out to them. Either A, they themselves may have opportunities for summer research, or they may know colleagues at other places that may have research opportunities. So don't overlook the fact that Yeshiva University faculty do have networks beyond Yeshiva University. Some of you, I know, even in high school, have participated in some science research opportunities that your high school has afforded you uh, uh, connections with. So you can also contact former teachers that you've had and see about opportunities that they may be aware of. Some of you have done research before. It's okay to contact former employers or coworkers that you've worked with or colleagues that you've worked with. Some of you may want to look at, as I said before, neighbors and roommates. And finally, alumni. So for those of you who are saying, I don't have any friends or family who are in the field. Yes, I already tapped out my Yeshiva University faculty. They don't know anything. Yes, I even spoke to my roommates. They don't know of anything. So I will tell you that alumni from Yeshiva University have been extremely helpful to really network with in order to secure and in order to brainstorm opportunities that may be available to you at research. And there are two ways of networking with alumni. One is through an online service that Yeshiva University has developed. It's called YU MVP. And I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but YU MVP does not stand for YU Most Valuable Player, though we have many valuable players at Yeshiva University, but it stands for Yeshiva University Mentoring Volunteer Program. So this is a program available through the Yeshiva University Career Center of YU alumni who have been tapped to participate in this mentor volunteer program and who already have agreed to speak to current students at Yeshiva University about their particular area of interest. So we have people who are part of YU MVP who are in business, finance, accounting, and people who are in the healthcare field, people who are scientists. So there's a small survey that you have to fill out on YU MVP. You can get to YU MVP through our resource, YU Career Link, which is the way that students can make appointments with the Career Advisement Center. And it's our online job search portal or internship portal as well. And there are resources there, and one is YU MVP. So this is a way for students who say, I don't know of anybody doing research. How can I even begin networking? YU MVP should be your first stop. Your second stop, or simultaneously, you can stop on LinkedIn. And for those of you who are not familiar what LinkedIn is a professional networking site. And so what you can do on LinkedIn, there is an actual portal on LinkedIn where you can connect with Yeshiva University alumni. And in it, you can actually request Yeshiva University alumni who work in New York City, who work in science research. And they will give you a list of YU alumni who work in New York City in science research. And then what you will want to do is you will want to connect with them, but you will want to do so strategically. And what we can do at the Career Center is show you how to connect with them strategically. But in order to do any of this, you yourself will have to develop a LinkedIn page. And the Yeshiva University Career Center can show you how to develop a professional LinkedIn page so that you will be able to connect with successful YU alumni who are already working in scientific research or who are already working in healthcare and have done scientific research or are currently doing simultaneously clinical research. So those are two great resources to connect with alumni. That's who you network with. And how do you actually network? So the tips for networking is you always want to craft a personal pitch, which is how are you going to present yourself to potential employers or to potential alumni who are going to give you advice on how to secure a summer internship. So we actually have a handout. For those of you, I just want to share with you another wonderful resource. Just as you have a Canvas course for every course that you register in at Yeshiva University, Yeshiva University is proud to say that our Career Center also has a wonderful Canvas course that all of you should be joining. Okay, and again, this is something that you can find on YU Career Link. There will be a link to the Canvas course, and the Canvas course will show you, we'll have handouts for you on how to craft a personal pitch and how to develop effective networking opportunities, meaning how to approach individuals when you want to network your way to a job or to a summer internship. What are the kinds of questions you should be asking them? So all of this is going to be really valuable. And all the while, you're going to want to maintain your sense of professionalism. Okay. So I just want to share with you that an overwhelming majority of opportunities are found through networking. And sometimes they call this the hidden job market. So there may not be something you'll see posted somewhere, but this will be opportunities that you can create for yourself based on you connecting with people who can make things happen. Okay? So that's strategy one, networking. Strategy two is actually locating posted positions. So positions that are actually posted online or posted through various websites. So your first line of defense, I always say, is try to go through YU resources for posted positions. So the pre-health office is the first step you should be using. So whether it's contacting Lolita Woodhill or whether it's contacting Brenda Lowy, you should be contacting them to see what kinds of posted positions might be available. YU itself, on students at YU, have put together a YU research portal called USRP website, and you can get on it through ycresearch.wordpress.com. And they also will list posted positions. As I mentioned before, in terms of networking, you can network through YU faculty, but again, YU faculty can also direct you to posted positions that they may be aware of. I mentioned to you earlier that the Career Center has an online job posting portal called YU Career Link. And there are sometimes organizations, hospitals, medical centers, or even faculty that post job openings on YU Career Link. So I will just tell you something that an actual situation that occurred this year. Because this year, students were highly affected by COVID, right? Their job opportunities were much more limited. The YU Career Center, the Employer Relations Department of the YU Career Center, reached out to YU faculty, and they asked YU faculty to step in and to take students on as research assistants in a wide variety of departments. And so although YU faculty previously had not necessarily taken on research assistants, realizing the situation students were in, they created opportunities for these students. So don't be shy, and don't think that YU Career Link is only for students interested in the business area. Faculty really came through with flying colors this summer to really provide opportunities for students. And I want to also remind you that part of the YU family still is ACOM. Many of you know it as Einstein. So although the relationship with Einstein certainly has changed over the years, Einstein is a teaching hospital. And as a teaching hospital, they have many, many research opportunities. So you certainly can go onto Einstein's website and look at opportunities that might be posted on their website, or you can research faculty members at Einstein to see what kinds of research they are involved in, and reach out to those faculty members, seeing if they might be in need of research assistance this summer. So please be aware that that also is part of the extended YU resources. As I mentioned earlier, there actually are some formal programs, formal programs like SURP, SURP, which stands for Summer Undergraduate Research Programs. And there are some programs called SURF, Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowships. And ACOM, or Albert Einstein College of Medicine, does have SURF programs, and you can certainly locate them on their website. So that's something that is a formalized program. In the past, other than last summer, Yeshiva University has also partnered with Bar Ilan University. And I think generally, again, I don't want to be quoted on this, but I think in general, the Bar Ilan University joint program with Yeshiva University in their Science Research Center, I think on average has taken on about 20 to 25 students to do research at Bar Ilan University research faculties. And the reason it's joint is because with Yeshiva University is that those students have housing through Yeshiva University. They have their meals taken care of through Yeshiva University. They even have some programming, Shabbat programming, taken care of through Yeshiva University. And then Sunday through Thursday, because Israel's week is a little bit different than the American work week. Instead of Monday through Friday, their work week is Sunday through Thursday. So in their work week, students then have gone to Bar Ilan University facilities to then conduct research. So last year, unfortunately, last summer was the first summer that they were not able to conduct the joint program, obviously because it was the height of COVID. However, we are hopeful that the partnership will continue this year. And I would say, please be in touch with your pre-health office to find out what the status of the program is. Usually that program is usually late anyway, even in the best of years. They have contacted Yeshiva University later on in the year. So generally we know about if the program is on usually in February time. So I know some of you will want to apply to programs much earlier. So I advise all of you to continue applying to other programs. And when Bar Ilan University does come out with its formal program in February, you will then have another opportunity to apply. And that generally will be held in Israel. Okay? So those are the YU resources. Then there are larger institutions, other universities and medical school websites. There are postings on those websites as well. Don't be afraid if you come from, I'm just saying, Cleveland, Ohio, you want to look at University of Cleveland, both at the university undergraduate school, as well as their graduate schools, as well as medical schools that may be affiliated with those universities. And look on their websites and see what faculty members are doing research. What kind of research are they doing? And reaching out to them and seeing if they have summer opportunities available. So again, don't think it has to be limited to Yeshiva University. It does not. And it doesn't have to necessarily be limited to New York either. And then there are large institutions, for example, in New York, that we are aware of. And one of them, Mount Sinai, is one of the hospitals, the Mount Sinai Medical System. They actually, in their volunteer services department, they actually take on summer research interns. And these can be students from the very beginning of starting research to students who are more advanced in their research. So if you go on Mount Sinai's volunteer services webpage, you will see a link for summer science research opportunities. So please use that as well. And there's one other, I'd say, website that I want you to be aware of. And that is, there's a website called Clinical Trials. Do you see this Clinical Trials website? This is something that many students are not aware of. But once I've shared it with them, I cannot tell you how many students afterwards have come to thank me to tell me about the website and an unusual way of using this website. So I'm always very transparent and upfront with students. Clinical Trials website is, you can get there by going on www.clinicaltrials.gov. And what it is, it's a website that is trying to recruit participants to participate in ongoing clinical trials. This is a national, actually, it's an international database of ongoing clinical trials. So a creative way of using this is you have to put in what area you're interested in, meaning what geographic area. So let's say you're interested in the United States. Let's say you're interested in New York, you put that in. And then you have to put in, let's say, a disease you're interested in. Let's say breast cancer, colon cancer, pancreatic cancer. And then what they will do is they will come up with 400 clinical trials in New York that are doing research in this area. And you can click on each one of those clinical trials to see if they are, to see what they're doing, what the nature of the clinical trials are. And on it, it will say in the very bottom who the principal investigator is and what their email is. Now, as I said before, they're listing this primarily to recruit participants for their clinical trials. However, students have creatively reached out to these PIs and successfully, I should say, secured positions over the summer to do clinical research on their trials. So they have written a a letter. They've read a little bit about the clinical trial because that is on the website. And they have written a convincing email that they've sent out to several PIs on several studies, on several clinical trials. And in the end, students have been highly successful in securing internships uh, on, on some of these trials. So again, an unusual way of finding opportunities. Then there are government programs. They are also posted. The National Science Foundation has research experience for undergraduates. You can conduct research with a faculty member at a university. Just Google NSF REU programs. The NIH, the National Institute of Health, has some summer internship programs. That's what SIP stands for, summer internship programs, mostly in biomedical areas and conducting it at various universities nationwide. The CDC, although I think they're very involved now in the COVID epidemic, but they do have short-term undergraduate internships. And again, you can go on their websites looking under fellowship opportunities. The DOE, the Department of Energy, also has published sites in national labs with professional researchers. They have both paid and volunteer opportunities. NASA, for anybody who is a physics major, they have summer internships as well, either in engineering or physics. And finally, the New York City Department of Health. I think this is a very, again, overlooked opportunity, but especially for students starting out who might be interested in the intersection of public health and research. The New York City Department of Health has something called the Health Research Training Program, HRTP. And every summer, except for this summer, I will say last summer, summer of 2020, they have taken on students for a wide variety of public health research programs. So again, I want to say this has also been a great opportunity for students, especially students beginning their research journey, to find opportunities. And for those people who are eligible for college work study, it is a paid opportunity. Okay, so that's another government program. You can also find out about opportunities, paid and volunteer opportunities, through associations or organizations. So associations or organizations like the American Association for Cancer Research, they on their website will have a job portal, a job search portal for internships. The American Cancer Society, the American Chemistry Society, the AMA, the American Medical Association, and also the Association of American Medical Colleges, the AAMC, has a comprehensive site on their website for summer job opportunities for college students. So please use that website. It's really invaluable in its listings. Finally, there are also company-sponsored posted positions, whether it's company-sponsored through pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies. Columbia University has an Amgen Scholars Summer Biology Research Program. Novartis, which is a pharmaceutical company, has a Scientific Summer Scholars Program. So you can get a listing of various pharmaceutical companies, as well as biotech companies. Go on their career page of those companies and look at posted positions for summer interns. And finally, there's a comprehensive listing of opportunities through Rochester Institute of Technology. And this is something that is posted. So I am not asking you to do something illegal. This is something that RIT has open to any person, any student in any university who wants to look at their website. So this is the link, http:// people.rit.edu, GTFSBI/SYMP/premed.htm. So this is a listing that is available to all students. Okay, so these are all the posted positions you'll see online. And as I mentioned already, the SURF and the SERP positions, the reason these are so much in demand are for two reasons. One is that they're pretty highly paid, which is always great, right? You want to use your summer to also help defer costs of college. So they're very highly paid. They're very organized, meaning not only do you get placed in a lab, but you also have supplemental activities where you interact with the other interns who are part of this SERP and SURF program. So you get to interact and meet with other like-minded students from other universities who also got accepted to these programs. So it's a really very robust program. And that's, I think, why many students, for many students, this is their first choice, but realize these are limited. And especially if you already have limited research opportunities, that means you don't have that much research under your belt, you may be competing against people who have much more research. So I would never discourage anyone from applying to these programs. Okay, never discourage anyone, but just know they're highly competitive. So certainly apply to them, but don't only rely on them. Okay? Strategy 3, which I've incorporated a little bit into the posting system, but is a blitz email approach. So what does that really mean? Do your own research. Find labs and names of principal investigators who might be in need of additional staff. I will tell you who isn't in need of additional staff, especially if they are going to volunteer their time. So as I mentioned, one of them is clinicaltrials.gov. That our students, and again, I can say this with certainty, our students have had highly successful results with, and I will qualify that before this summer, okay? Because this summer, meaning summer 2020, really changed the landscape given COVID. However, as I said, my hopes are, and the hopes of all of these programs are that things are going to go back to the way they were, meaning that all these programs will open up again. They are planning to open up again for the summer of 2021. You want to develop an email prospecting letter in order to do a blitz email approach. And you want to make sure to craft your letter very, very carefully. You want to read about the research that some of these other labs are doing. You want to show a sincere interest in that research. You want to also show in the prospecting letter what you can bring to the research. And then you obviously always want to follow up when you send it out. So where can you send your blitz email to? Medical school websites, as I mentioned before. You can start with Albert Einstein because they're affiliated with YU. Hospital websites, as I said before, like Mount Sinai, Cornell University, NYU. Large company websites, and other universities, especially for students who are looking outside of the New York area, who may want to secure a position near their home because they want to go home for the summer. So what would your email look like? Okay, so I'm just going to share with you, and don't copy this word for word, but I'm just going to share with you what it might look like. So something like, Dear Dr. Jones, I'm currently a junior pre-medical student at Yeshiva University studying biology. I'm interested in obtaining lab experience for this coming summer. And I saw on Einstein's website that you were working on uncovering the mechanisms by which Ebola and Marburg filoviruses exploit their host cells to gain entry into the cytoplasm. I'm highly interested in your research and eventually aspire to gain my MD PhD in an area related to virology. And obviously the reason they said virology is because that's what the nature of this research is in. I have, and then the second paragraph of this, so that's why are you writing to them, and why are you interested in them and their research? Then the second paragraph, you want to say, what will you bring to them? So here in the second paragraph, you want to say, I've completed related coursework in microbiology, statistics, bioethics, and chemistry, and have some experience with aseptic techniques, culture growth and differential media, differential staining, microbiology, microscopy, and some biochemical testing. I'm also quite comfortable on the computer and have worked with various databases and statistical software packages. And the reason they want to mention that is a lot of data is stored on these databases. I would very much be interested in bringing these skills to volunteer in your lab for the summer. And the last paragraph is your closing. I'm available to speak with you about any potential opportunities or convenience. And some students will even put forth their resume. They'll attach their resume to this email. Attached, you will find my resume that goes into greater detail about my experience. I look forward to hearing from you soon, and thank you for your time. Sincerely, your name. Okay, so this is what a good revised email, good email for prospecting or bliss email approach would be. Okay, so I just want you to know that this is something that really is, that this is something that you should all be doing. You should all be doing. Okay. So you always, in crafting your emails and letters, think before you write, always proofread your work. I want to tell you something that honestly happened. It is tragic, but it honestly did happen. A student, obviously what I'm saying through all of this, I hope you're getting, is you cannot rely just on one opportunity. You should be applying to as many opportunities as possible, paid and unpaid, because you don't know what this summer will bring. A student did indeed reach out to 20 different labs, did a lot of research on the labs, and she developed her email and her letter. She sent out 20 different emails, but she forgot, she did at the beginning, she said, "Dear doctor," the correct doctor, but in the body of her email, the first one she sent to was to NYU, and she left NYU's name in there for all 20 labs. She forgot to change the name of the lab in the email. Needless to say, no one got back to her except the first lab from NYU. So again, please be careful. These details are critical. Have someone else proofread it to make sure you've changed everything within the body of the email that you need to change. And make sure you spell check, but with caution. Because remember, they wouldn't have picked up that she's sending it out to Cornell, and in the body of the email, it says NYU. Remember that emails can always be forwarded. Always err on the side of formality, so make sure that you always address it, "Dear Dr. So-and-so." Always make sure you're writing the body of the email itself. It's not as if you're talking to a person, but it's more formal language, and never use I am or text abbreviations. Now, in order to do this, in order to apply to all of these programs, all of you will have to have a resume, or what we call a curriculum vitae. And some of you have already emailed me and said, "Wait a second, I have a resume. What's a curriculum vitae?" So I will tell you the big difference from a resume and a curriculum vitae is a curriculum vitae is the word that's used for a resume in academic settings, like scientific research settings. The difference really is that in a curriculum vitae, if any of you have done presentations, or if any of you have actually had published works, you would include that in a curriculum vitae, and you wouldn't necessarily include that in a resume. So the big difference in a curriculum vitae is that it really highlights um, awards and fellowships you've gotten. So they put a big emphasis on honors and awards. Curriculum vitae put a big emphasis on fellowships. They put a big emphasis on publications, presentations. They put a big emphasis on research, on teaching experience. So some of you may have been TAs, teaching assistants for biolabs or microbiology labs, or just a TA for a bio lecture. Those are the kinds of experiences that differentiate a curriculum vitae from a resume. So on a curriculum vitae, you'll have, in addition to your education, you'll have a section called honors and awards. You'll have a section called research experience. You'll have a section called teaching experience. You'll have a section called publications and presentations, etc. So that's really the big difference. Make sure you realize that, resumes and curriculum vitae are both evolving documents. So you want to continuously update it as you update your work experience. It should always be an example of your best work. And your resume and curriculum vitae are you on paper. So it's your marketing brochure of who you are. I've said all of this. I've said of all the sections that we've talked about. Again, in a curriculum vitae, you want to also make sure to have your lab skills, but you'd have on your resume. These are, again, some of the things that I've mentioned before. And the other thing that on a curriculum vitae that you also would probably have on your resume too, but you want to, for those of you who are members, like student members of professional associations, like the American Chemical Association or the American Biological Association, you should make sure to include those professional affiliations down on your resume or CV, because both of them will show a professional commitment to the field that you will want principal investigators to take note of. Okay, so both of them will have contact information. Make sure you have an email that is proper and formal. Make sure that the message at the end of your voicemail from your personal phone actually has a professional voicemail on it. Always your CVs and resumes are always reverse chronology. And you see both what is recommended and what the changes are I mentioned earlier. If any of you are doing a thesis, some of you may be in the honors program and you're in the process of doing a thesis, you want to make sure to mention that in your CV and your curriculum vitae, because anything that distinguishes you in a positive way, you want to make sure to have on your resume or your CV. I'm going to kind of go by this. For any of you who do not have a resume or CV yet, please come and make an appointment with the Career Center. We can help you make sure your resume or CV is as professional as possible. Resumes and CVs should be one page. However, if you are someone who already is quite accomplished and you still are a junior, you may have, your CV may be 2 pages. Okay, I will say that for research. You want to have it easily readable. You want to have the font type, either Arial Times New Roman, make it 10 to 12 size font size, 1.5 to 1 inch margins. And once you actually have your resume approved by someone in the Career Center or your CV approved by someone in the Career Center, make it transfer it from a Word document to a PDF. And the reason you want to do that is when you send it in an email, you want all the alignment to be proper. So let's say a PI is opening it up from their phone. If it's in a PDF, it will always be in perfect alignment. Whereas if you keep it in a Word document and you send in a work document, it will come across really very unprofessional. And the alignment will be completely off. The formatting will be completely off. So you want to make sure there are no mistakes or typos in your resume or CV. You want to make sure everything is aligned, everything is consistent in terms of formatting, grammar, dates, dashes, etc. Finally, last minute information, timeline for your search. When should you start looking for summer research opportunity? Now! So all of you should be starting to look now, both obviously first and foremost on the posted websites that we've talked about, networking now with people on YU MVP or people through LinkedIn, through professors, etc. All of this you should be starting now. The more formalized programs, some have deadlines coming up very soon, but many of them, a few have it in December, many of them have it into early February. So again, they really range. So that's why I would say, use the time now to research the ones that are posted, because those are the ones who have very set deadlines, and you want to make sure not to miss those deadlines. And as I said before, this is going to be very time intensive. I'm not going to lie to you, but if you invest the time, I guarantee you, you will find something that will be relevant and valuable for you to do over the summer in terms of summer research. But it will take initiative and research. Following up and follow through. So one of the things that we suggest at the Career Center is that all of you should be having a Excel spreadsheet of programs that you're applying to. And on the Excel spreadsheet, you should say what program you applied to, when you applied to it, when the deadline was, making sure you have all of the required materials that they are requesting, whether it's a transcript, whether it's a resume, whether it's letters of recommendation. You want to make sure that everything is in before the deadline. So you want to make sure that you keep a ongoing spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet of all your required materials, the programs you apply to, when the deadlines are, when they plan to get back to students, and how you're going to follow through with them. So you have to take ownership of your search and be proactive. Make sure you don't abuse any relationship of people, especially of YU alumni that you're going to be connecting to. Make sure you're professional at all times. You can never outwardly, and this is very important, if you take away nothing from this in terms of networking, make sure you realize you can never, and I'm going to stress never, ask a YU alumni, either through YU mentoring volunteer program or through LinkedIn. You can never ask them for an internship. You can ask them for advice on an internship. You can ask them how they secured their summer internships while they were undergraduates, but you can never ask them outright for an internship. You can ask them whether or not they know if there are people where they work who are looking for interns. All of those things you can ask, but you can never ask them directly for an internship. Can you get me an internship? Will you hire me as an intern? Those are things you can never do. That is abusing the relationship. That is harassing them. Alumni are very, very willing to help students with advice and to help connect students with people they think may be helpful to them. However, they do not want to be cornered to have to get you an internship. So please make very sure that when you're connecting with them, you ask for advice and not an internship. Make sure you keep records because you want to make sure that your reputation is kept in a good place. And you always periodically want to keep in touch with people that you are going to network with. So for example, if you know they are Jewish and Orthodox, you could send them an update, let's say around Purim time, just letting them know how you're doing and how your job search is coming. Or, and then you can wish them, a happy Purim. Or, if some of you have already started the search and you want to follow up with some of the people that you've reached out to, then before the secular New Year, you can send them an email just updating them on what's been going on with you in your search and wishing them a happy secular New Year. So again, it's really helpful to nurture these relationships and maintain the relationships, but never abuse them. And I just want to end with, we here at the Career Center are so happy to partner with you in making an effective summer job search plan with you. And in order to do that, we want to make an appointment with you. You can absolutely visit us through our website, the YU Career Link website, yu-csm.simplicity.com. I will give you my personal email, which is kapp, K-A-P-P, @yu.edu. And I can then connect you with other advisors in the Career Center to also reach out to in terms of making appointments. We can make 30-minute appointments on either phone or virtual appointments. There is some limited in-person appointments, very limited. One of my colleagues, I think Daniel Coleman, is in 1 day a week on the Wilf campus. And we also have walk-ins and live chats. But again, if you go on YUCL, they will have information regarding that. So I want to urge all of you to please make an appointment to see us, and that really is a follow-up. So please, I would love to have you make sure to make an appointment with one of us. As I said, we have a wide variety. We have Daniel Coleman, we have Jim McMortar, we have Joshua Meredith, we have myself, we have Sharon Melareas. So there are a number of people in the Career Center that can help you with your job search and can make sure that you're staying targeted and that you're remaining on course. Any questions that people have? Please, if you want to use the chat room to ask me questions, I'm happy to take a few questions now. And if not, as I said, all of you have my email, kapp@yu.edu. So please feel free. Yanni, you had a question, please.
Yes.
Feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question.
So I was informed that in my biology class that it's being thought to have in-person lab in the summer. So that would limit, I don't know how, this was told to me to be one option. So I don't know if it's going to be the one chosen or.
Okay, so Yanni, I will tell you that, and this is true for every student who's still here on, because the formal presentation has finished. I just want everyone to know, but please stay on and ask questions. So Yanni, if you go on, what is it, www.yu.edu/Stern College, Stern, or you can /Yeshiva College, you can actually go on department websites like biology, chemistry, and you can see which professors are a part of the faculty of that department. And you can click on their names and you can see which faculty members are currently doing research on campus. And you can reach out to them to see if they might be in need of any research assistance. Even though you may be on the student in Stern College, you can actually reach out to professors on Yeshiva College. Okay, you're not limited to the college in which you're enrolled in. So you can go on the Yeshiva College website and see which faculty members in the chemistry department there, or the biology department there, or the physics department there have ongoing research. And you can contact them as well. So nothing stops you from contacting YU professors and seeing about their research and seeing if they might be in need of current students to work on research projects that they have ongoing. Does that answer your question, Yanni?
It answers some of it. It's I mean, I guess some of the research opportunities won't be available. I was wondering in terms of how to maximize because I don't know if I would be going to class in the summer, then I wouldn't be able to go to California.
I understand.
Research.
Okay, so let me rephrase what I hear you now saying. You're saying if you register for a class in the summer at Yeshiva University, let's say you want to register for a biochemistry class over the summer at Yeshiva University. So you will be in class because it's a summer class. You might be in class 5 days a week, including lab, and you may not have the opportunity in the summer then to do research, a full-time research commitment. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know about a class, but my class that I'm taking now says that we may do some aspects of the lab in the summer.
Okay, so then you would have to
yes.
speak to the professor and find out what that commitment would be, how many hours a week it would be, etc., to see whether or not it would afford you opportunity to still do something over the summer in terms of lab research. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't know offhand what the time commitment would be of that lab. You would have to find that out from your professor. And based on that, you would then have to decide what you are able to do. And so maybe, remember what I said before, maybe instead of doing a formalized program that will require many more hours, you will have to do a volunteer program, let's say, researching, reaching out to someone, let's say on clinicaltrials.com and asking for a 2-day-a-week volunteer research opportunity, because maybe your lab will be 3 days a week that you'll have to, make up for. So that I can't tell you. You'd have to find that out from your professor. Yeah. Okay, is that what your question is saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Then so you'd have to find that time commitment out from your professor.
Is there a way to? I was told that there's a lot of science that needs Python. So these stats, not necessarily stats, but computer skills.
Yes, sure.
So
sure.
Is there a way
yes. So that's called bioinformatics.
Yes.
So yes, there are definitely in a lot of these, in all of these areas, by the way, in the research in labs, in many labs, they do need someone who has strong computer skills to help with data management, to help with the data analysis. And if you have strong computer skills, whether it's programming skills or whether it's data management skills, database skills, those could be very useful in summer in various labs. Yes.
Is there a way to search specifically for that, or do you just write bioinformatics? Or
sure. So what you would want to do, let's say you're going to a specific lab, you might want to see if they have a bioinformatics department Do you know what I mean? Or if you're looking at other universities, you might want to look at their bioinformatics department and see if anybody there in their bioinformatics department might be in need of a volunteer research assistant.
Okay.
Correct. You could do that.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, so please know that we are here to answer any questions. You can contact us directly and we'd be happy to answer any of them. And we want to wish you lots of luck as you come to the end of your semester and as you approach your exams. And know that we are working, even though we're working virtually, we're working full time. Take care and thank you all for coming. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you.